Hello, this is Professor Kitch, and this is my second webcast on how to do library research at Cal Poly Pomona. And this one will cover how to browse online journals. For geotechnical engineers, there are three main online journals that are going to be important to you. The first is the ASCE Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering. The second is the Canadian Geotechnical Journal. And the third is Geotechnique, which is published by the Institute of Civil Engineers in the United Kingdom. These are the three most valuable journals for geotechnical engineers, but there are a number of other journals that are also valuable. These include the Electronic Journal for Geotechnical Engineering and the International Journal of Geoengineering Case Histories, the International Journal of Geotechnical Engineering, and Soils and Foundations, which is the Japanese Geotechnical Engineering Journal. There are a number of different ways to get to the online journals through the Cal Poly Pomona library website. One of the simplest ways to do that is to go through Ann Morgan's page, which we've already looked at before. If you get back to the graduate student page that Ann Morgan's put together, and you'll notice there's a link up here at the top for CE 531 Geotechnical. If you click on that, she's got some specific information about geotechnical engineering resources. In particular, on this left-hand panel, you'll see that it lists journals for geotechnical engineering, and it's got the major journals I just discussed: the Canadian Geotechnical Journal, Geotechnique, the Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering, along with some other journals that are available on the Cal Poly Pomona library. She's also listed some other journals down here below that aren't available through the library subscriptions, but most of these also have some free content which you can get access to. And there's the Soils and Foundations Journal, which I discussed, from Japan. So let's look at just two of these journals, and I'm going to log in first to the Canadian Geotechnical Journal. When you click on that link that Ann's put there, what it does is it takes you into the Cal Poly Pomona catalog, and it just takes you to the listing for the Canadian Geotechnical Journal. And here's that listing. You can see it lists the Canadian Geotechnical Journal, and it tells you a little bit about it. And if you look down in this section, it tells you that we have several versions of this. There's some stuff on compact shelving, and there's stuff in microfiche. But the stuff we're really interested in is up here in this section, where they've got links to the online stuff. And we're going to go here. I think either one of these links will work fine, but we're going to go to the Canadian Geotechnical Journal from the National Research Council. When I click on that link, the first thing that's going to happen if you're logging in from off campus is it's going to ask you to enter your Bronco name and your Bronco password. And you enter just the regular Bronco password and name that you use for all of your university logins. If you're logging in from on campus, you won't need to do this because it knows that you're logging in from a campus computer. Now this takes us to the Canadian Geotechnical Journal. But if you look up here at the top of the page, you'll notice that we're not actually going directly to the Canadian Geotechnical Journal. We're going through this proxy. You can tell that it says proxy.library.csu Pomona. That's really important because that's the way you're going to get access to the library's account for this and their subscription. If you went directly to the Canadian Geotechnical Journal without going through the library website, you'll be able to see the articles, but you won't be able to download any of them because you don't have a subscription to them. So this takes us to their web page, and there's a bunch of different ways to look at the articles. We're just going to browse through a list of issues, and this is a way you might want to look at the journal if you already knew there was an article published that you were interested in. So let's say that I know there's an article in 2012, and it's in volume number 7, and I happen to be looking for this model on development of progressive failures in sensitive clay slopes. Now there's a bunch of different ways I can read this. I can go click on full text here, and it will take me to a web version of the article that's complete, and I can read the whole article online. And that's kind of nice. Except I like to look at the PDF versions of these because I find them easier to read. And if you look up here, you notice there's a link to the PDF version of the article. And when I click on that, I'll get a download of the PDF version of the article, which I can read online if I want, or I can save it to my hard drive. And this is the full version of the article. So let's go back to Ann Morgan's page now, and let's just look at one other journal that we'll be using a lot, I'm sure, and that's the Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering. This is from ASCE. And again, you see that that link just takes us to the library catalog, and from there we can click on either one of these links will work to take us to the ASCE library. And again, it takes us direct to the page for the Geotechnical Journal, and I can again look at this in a number of different ways. If I want to look at the current issue, I can just click on current issue. It's going to show me the current issue. I can browse through these and read the titles, and if I'm interested in one, I can just look at the abstract. If that turns out to be the paper I want to read, I can either read it online, or again, I can download a complete PDF of that article. And again, here's that article, and I can read it or download it and save it. Now those links that Ann has in these places just took us straight to the library catalog. So another way we can access is just directly from the University Library catalog. This is the main page of the University Library, and you just go to Books and Articles and click on Search the Library Catalog, and then rather than keywords, because we know that we're looking for a title, we would just put Journal of Geotechnical. That will be enough for us to find it. And when I do that, sure enough, here's the Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering. And here's the same page that the link came from Ann's page. So you can either get to these journals directly through the catalog, or if you're not sure how to do that, you can get there from Ann's homepage. Now I want to show you why it's important that you access the journals through the library website and not direct. I'm going to open up a new tab here, and I'm going to go to the ASCE website. And then I'm going to go look at the books and journals. I'm going to go here to online journals. I'm going to scroll down to the Journal of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Engineering. And here I am at a page that looks just like the page we had previously. But if I look up at the top of the page at the address, you notice that it just says ASCE Library and doesn't say anything about Cal Poly Pomona. And so if I go to read the current issue, it'll bring up the page with the articles, and let's say I want to look at this first article, and I'll be able to read the abstract just like we had before. But now if I click on PDF to download, I'm going to get a page where it asks me to come in here and pay for this article to read it. And this is because I'm accessing the website without a subscription. If you had a subscription, I could put it in here, but obviously you don't want to pay for a subscription. So it's really important when you're accessing these websites that you're going through the library and through the library's proxy, as you see up here. And then you know that you're going to be able to get them through the library's subscription, and you won't have to pay for them. Well, that explains how to access journals directly from the Cal Poly Pomona library catalog and how you can browse them. And that's good if you already know that there's a specific journal article you want to read, or if you just want to browse the current edition of one of the journals. However, in the next webcast we do, I'll show you a much more powerful way that you can search for articles across many journals at the same time. And that'll be the third webcast in this series.